Alright, what's going on? We back. Goodfellas Sports TV in the building. Appreciate everybody for checking in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button. Won't miss another video. And y'all already know it's already heating up. I know it's hot when my dog walk in and go straight to the water bowl. So let's get it in, man. And obviously, I know a lot of people already heard that Oklahoma City Thunder can't move Chris Paul. I know a lot of people saying, you know, Detroit Piston fans saying, well, Pistons should take a chance. They can get him for the cheap, for the low. Yeah, you probably can get him for a low. Reggie Jackson will be half the contract, and they got to fill out the other $10 million and get him here. But I think it's one thing people missing about the Chris Paul thing. The Russell Westbrook thing was different. All right, Westbrook is a guy that's still on top of his game. He has some knee injuries, but like he really ain't missed a lot of significant time. Chris Paul been getting injured for years. You know what I'm saying? Even in his heyday, he was an injury-prone player, and people don't like him. Westbrook might be tough to play with, but you put Westbrook on the Pistons, they got a chance to win the East. Chris Paul, yeah, you might have a chance to win the East, but at a critical time, guess what? What happened with the Clippers? What happened with the Houston Rockets? He got injured, and he rubbed people the wrong way. But while I'm on my way to shoot up the street real quick, I'm not gonna be on long in this video, but people forget, hey, this is Blake Griffin franchise now. Will Blake Griffin sign off on Chris Paul coming here? Because that didn't end well. DeAndre Jordan didn't like Chris Paul. That's one of the reasons he originally signed with the Mavericks years ago when his contract was up, and they all, sat at his house and wouldn't leave, and Chris Paul was probably apologizing because nobody liked Chris Paul. Kenyon Martin got an interview with Colin Hurd. Just put the Colin Hurd or the Hurd, whatever the show is, and put Kenyon Martin. And Kenyon Martin explains a little bit why players don't like Chris Paul. Basically, he a company man. He act like he down with the team, and he committing treason, and then he be going to management and kissing management ass. That's the kind of, pretty much what he said. And I can see him putting on that face. He the union, face of the NBA Players Union. But will Blake Griffin sign off on homeboy coming here? That's the $1 million question. Will Blake Griffin want to play with Chris Paul again? Or will he say, if you get him, get rid of me? Or, no, don't bring him here. Now people going to say, well, Blake Griffin want to win. Yeah, he want Chris Paul here. But, you basically the Detroit Clippers. You basically the same thing over again. You recreating the storm that the Clippers had to break up because they knew it wasn't getting them nowhere. Even though they had the dope talent and Blake Griffin is a different player now, he's a more skillful player than he was. It's the same result. Blake Griffin and Chris Paul took turns getting injured every year, or they was injured at the same time. It's the same thing. They got injured all the time. It was either, no matter what it was. Like the Clippers might win a championship this year, make it out the West. Somebody got injured. Chris Paul, Blake Griffin. So really, you about to get rid of an injury-prone player, Reggie Jackson. This is last year on his contract. Let's say stupid enough to re-up with him. But I wouldn't put it past him because what if Reggie Jackson come out blazing? Usually guys in their contract year had their best year. But it wouldn't fool me. But if he come out, doing well, but he the injury prone, and Chris Paul way more older than Reggie Jackson and more injury prone. The $1 million question is, does Blake Griffin sign off on Chris Paul? That's it. Because they willing to dump Reggie Jackson. And some talks they talking to get DeMar DeRozan. And I would love to have DeMar DeRozan, especially over Chris Paul. I think DeMar DeRozan, fit wise, will probably be a better fit than Westbrook. For the Pistons. It'd be a good fit. I think they both two tremendous players. But yeah, I'd rather have DeMar. I like DeMar. But with Chris Paul, he just ain't the same player. I think a lot of us, and I'm guilty of it, I got caught up because Allen Iverson is my all-time favorite player. You know what I'm saying? But I think we get caught up. I think we get caught up remembering players for what they was. And it's hard for us to get it out of our mind, especially with Chris Paul playing on the West. Even though this is a stat field, generation, everything is analytics. Oh, he averaged 27, 8, and stuff like that. But I still think people think Chris Paul is still CP3, the Chris Paul he was with the New Orleans Hornets, the Chris Paul that was, doing good with, Chandler and David West, or the Chris Paul that was, that was in Lob City. He no longer, I think he can be that player for a short amount of time, but he no longer a $41 million a year guy. A $41 million a year guy. I don't think he no longer that, in my opinion. That's just my personal opinion. And that's a lot, because then, you got to pay him that for the next 3 years. And you already know he's going to get injured. So really, even if they willing to take the chance on him, is Blake Griffin going to sign off on Chris Paul is the $1 million question. When Blake Griffin, when people say, well, if he really didn't win, but a lot of times, Kobe and Shaq was winning, but they ain't like each other, and eventually, dark days gonna come. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, the way Chris Paul is, he a fiery leader, he real vocal. He probably gonna piss off Blake Griffin, to piss off. You gotta remember the camaraderie. He gonna piss somebody off. So that's just something to kind of think about when people that's pro Chris Paul. But if I'm not doing it. Nope. And people say, what if they buy him out? They not buying that man out of a $124 million deal for the next 3 years or whatever it is. They're not buying him out of that. He'd be stupid to get bought out, So it sounds like he's gonna start off with Oklahoma City, but you can get him on a discount, and you can get you probably can finesse them out of two of them first round picks to get him. But me personally, I stay in the way. For real. I was trying to get the Rosen, you feel me? But I appreciate the love and support. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the videos. Don't forget to check out our sponsor. Oh, not our sponsor, that's my other channel. But hey, appreciate the love and support. We on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Check out my other channel, Goodfellas Sports TV. We talk about more sports, more entertainment, everything. One time for the one time, we gone.